Hello, this is my video from my full stack project and my Django website. So we'll start with our models.py file. So we have our choices forms for each variable that we're putting in the pizza model. So we have sizes, extras, sauce, cheese, topping, and crust with few different options in each. The ones for sizes, sauce, and cheese are a bit redundant because we're designing it in a bit of different way to the other variables, but I've kept them in there because I want to play around with it for my own personal use after I submit this project. So we come down the line and we have our individual um, classes for printing purposes. So you can see we are returning the strings for each of those. And then we have in our pizza model each variable, um, car fields, and then we have of course the ID as well to keep track of the user ID, the ID for the pizza model that belongs to them. And then we have the size, sauce, and cheese. We have foreign keys for those because we're going to be looking to make new options for those variables directly from the admin page. And then we have our payment model down at the bottom with our variables that the user will need to submit their payment, the name, address, card number, expiry date, and CVV. So from there, we move on to our URLs page, and we have a URL for each view in our views.py file. So we have a page for each view, and we're able to play around with them in different ways. They all have different purposes. As I said before, I've added in some extra ones that um, that weren't required because I'm going to do a bit extra after. But it's okay. So of course, we have our create, our payment and confirmation page, the most important, our contact page about um, all with the views in our views.py. And if you come over to our forms page now, come from the top, so we have our size, cheese, and sauce form. Of course, we have those set out a little bit differently to the other variables because we're looking to be able to make new options for those variables directly from the admin page. Um, And then obviously we have our other ones lower down underneath. We have those ones on top, of course, so they'll be able to be recognized inside the pizza form. And then we have our forms for our payment page going down. So then we come over to our views.py file, and we have some imports at the top, and then we have, of course, our index file. But moved on to our create a pizza function. Course, we start off with if request on method equals post, so then we're able to create forms for our HTML page right from the get-go. So we'll be able to display the forms for the user to be able to make their pizza. So of course, and then we have form validation. I don't think it was needed for this section, but I decided to put it in anyway. Nothing wrong with a bit of extra detail. We make an instance of our pizza model, add those extra variables, and then if all goes to plan, we save the instance and send our user to the payment page. If not, then we refresh that page and the forms involved. So then we kind of the same thing for the payment model. What's it called? We we make the forms, sorry, we make the forms right from the get-go so the user is able to fill in their information, and we validate them as well. We make an instance of the model, much similar to the pizza function, and then we populate it with the variables that we saw in from the models.py page, save it, and move on to the confirmation page. Um, and then if all else fails, then we just make it directly the same as we saw up here in the pizza page. So I won't bother showing you all of these views down here because they're all the same. Just return render to show the code that we have on the HTML page. So then we're going to have a little look at our templates file. So the spec said that we should show how the templates file is structured rather than the code in each individual HTML page. So I'll just show the about page for an example. So I didn't use a base HTML file for this project because I felt that I wanted to design them all a little bit differently. There was a lot of overlap in the end, but I thought that this was the best way to go about it, for a bit of an amateur start, just a bit of experimenting. And if I find things that I like to use frequently, then that can become substance for a base HTML page. So of course we have our doc type HTML, what's called, and down here we have our load static tag, so we can load in the information from our CSS file that we're going to use to um to add a bit of spice to the file, add a bit of style, so it's not just a white page with black text on it. You can see our image here and the classes that we're going to use to reference it in our CSS file, and then just a bit of a cheeky reference to show how popular our pizza brand is, and a link to send them straight to the order page so that they can make their own pizza and be on their way. And of course, we have some code and some footer links down to some other pages that we have um, on the website. So this, as you can see, is how our templates page is structured. Um, I don't think there's anything really complicated here. We have all of our files neatly in one place, ready to go. So then it's kind of the same story for our static folder. As you can see, we have everything in one place ready to go. We have our images that we're using um, for the HTML pages that the user will be able to see. And then of course we have our code here, um, that's designing the HTML page. Of course, nothing too crazy. We're keeping it simple for the most part. Don't want to spend too much time on this. But yeah, so we just got our code here for the footer. Nice, simple, and as you can see, we're keeping it fairly plain and effective, I think is the way to describe the way I've chosen to design these pages. So after that, we'll head on to our website, um, head onto our website there and see if we can create our own pizza. So we come onto our homepage. This is it, straight to the point. So then we can order our pizza, limited options at the moment, but we are getting more in stock, so be on the lookout. So we fill in each box, all of the variables that we had in our pizza.model page are here. We order, the form's been validated, it's gone through nicely. So then we come into our payment page. We just make up a random person. We say John, he lives at 12 Street. So it's a plain old card number, and his card's been expired for over 13 years. So we validate the form, and again, we come into the payment page, and that will be able to showcase the information for the user, the information that they've put into the system so far. It's not showing here at the moment because I think we're having a bit of an issue with the object saving in the admin page, but I'm not sure why because the form has been validated, everything is working, it's supposed to be saving, so I'm not sure if there's a small issue there, but I'll go through it again in my own time. Yeah, so that is everything that we were asked to look through in the spec. I think everything is well designed. It looks good, apart from this one bit at the end. We're having a bit of an issue with the confirmation page. But like I said, the forms are validating, they're saving well, so I'm not exactly sure why we're running into that issue. But you know, look into it again in my own time because I will be, you know, using this project as a basis to play around with. But yeah, so that's everything. Thank you very much for listening, and have a good day.